Hello everyone, Darren here, and welcome to Foundry. Foundry is a first-person automation game set in a procedural, voxel-based world. It boasts enormous factories that allow you to build anywhere, even deep underground. You can also play solo or play with friends, and the game releases into early access on the 2nd of May. Quick thank you to Paradox for sponsoring this video, and if you want to check out the game for yourself, please consider clicking the link in the top comment or the description that'll take you to the game's page. Now, I really enjoyed the game, and I mentioned towards the end, if you enjoyed it too and you want to see more, just leave a like or a comment on the video and I'll be back with more if you guys want more. Alright, without further delay, let's begin. Alright, so there we have it. So we've arrived. Now, one of the first things that I've done is I've turned down the voice of our AI assistant here, Carl. He's actually super helpful. He's got a really nice, chill voice. He should do Let's Plays. But I'm going to be your voice assistant for this episode. So we've turned him down for now, and we'll be following along with the tasks that are up in the top right. And I want to kind of get the ball rolling and go through quickly and try to advance quicker than a normal Let's Play on my channel so that I can at least show people what the game sort of has to offer, at least in the first portion of it. Alright, so we'll open up our map. Of course, it's a procedurally generated world, infinite world. And different every time, but I've used my seed that you can see at the start if you wanted to start in the same location as me. We're going to equip our ore scanner, open our inventory, drag that down here, use number 2, and I pressed the wrong button. Anyway, sorry, use number 2 and then click, right? So we have our deposit over there of technum ore and another deposit right over there of xenoferrite ore. So we now have to basically go over to these and just mine them by hand using our drill to get 100. So we start with these like little initial deposits just sitting on top here, and then the bigger deposit is down there that we can actually automate. So I'm just going to get cracking on these, and then we'll speed up once we get all this stuff in my inventory. Alright, there we go. So I've just mined all the rock on both deposits. So obviously this is where we can place the proper miners to get the full deposit and the drones and things that will do it for us. And I didn't have to clear everything, just a little OCD, kind of wanted to myself. Now at the back of our pod, it comes built in with a little smelter here, dedicated to the first 2 deposits that you'll get. So here's the technum rods. So we pop in the ore, we'll get rods out of that, and this one we'll get the xenoferrite plates. So rods and plates, both of them in there, on their way now. I've got a bunch of ore now in my inventory for stacking this up with even more as time goes on. Now, while I'm waiting for the smelter to do its job, just going to clear the area, get as much biomass as we can, and also just try to create a blank canvas for us to build our foundations on between the 2 deposits, as that's basically where our first factory is going to be going. Of course, you'll notice things are just destructible, right? Everything's destructible. You can get rid of trees, you can get rid of rocks, get rid of the ground itself if you wanted to dig down and get a little crazy with it. Later on, you'll actually see deposits that are underground, and you have to build cave systems and tunnels to get to them. And then, much like a certain crafting game, we could just fill that back in if we wanted to. It's as easy as that. Alright, let's see what we got. We've got 31 plates, 32 now, and 33 rods. So that's completed our objective. The next one is to open our crafting menu and make ourselves some building blocks. So basically, things are kind of crafted sort of like Factorio, right? Down here in the bottom left, we're crafting these components, and it'll craft the smaller components first that are needed for something if you don't, you know what I mean? Like, it knows what's needed, and if you have the base ingredients in your inventory, it'll kind of craft everything that's needed to get to the point where you get the object that you're looking for. Anyway, so we've created some building blocks. Got 50 of them already. And one of our deposits started over there, so yeah, I guess we could go actually kind of raised off of that. I'm just trying to see. I want to get to over there, I guess. I'm going to do a little bit of land clearance, and then I'll place this down, actually. Alright, there. So I've now cleared out a really large patch of territory that we can kind of build our foundations on, and we have to build our first one right next to this ore deposit. So to do that, we need to place 30 foundations. So we'll just go out something like this. And just build that along here as well. There we go. Alright. So we got to craft a drone miner and then place it. So a drone miner is going to require more plates and parts. Right, so I have to go back over, just grab a few more resources, and then that should be able to be crafted in the background. And there we go. So I'm going to build 2, because we're going to need one for the other deposit that's out that way. Alright, the drone miner is done. So we'll just place that right here. Bonk. Alright, drone miners and most other buildings require power to function. We need a biomass burner. So to get one of those, we'll just build... I'll build again 2, one for the other side and one for here. So it's just crafting in the bottom left. You can see that it's really small, but it's making the other components first, and then it'll make the building once it gets the smaller components, because it needs electronic components, which I guess is in this category, which would come from technum rods. And then you need some wire coil, which comes from technum rods as well. Alright, so with that crafted, we can just place one right here. And we can interact with it. So, missing fuel. Right, so we just picked up a bunch of biomass, 236. So, Just deposit 100 in there. It's cooking away, and we can see that the max output is 600 kilowatts, current output is 200 kilowatts, but it's based on demand, so that'll get the drones out and mining, and then they kind of collect the ore, bring it back, deposit it in here, and then these are like little conveyor belt outputs, and they can also be inputs, but for this obviously building into outputs, so we can have belts coming out of there that feed the feed the ore into other machines. Now we need to make a smelter as well. I'm just going to extend out our boundary just a little bit further. Alright, so I just extended the foundations out a little bit further. It's pretty obvious, but the current basically runs through the foundation, so any buildings we put on it get electrified. Now, if you want to connect multiple foundations across vast distances, obviously then we need power poles and things like that. So, what do we got to do? Build a smelter. Alright, so for that, we're going to need a little bit more of the base components that I'm missing. Alright, so let's place our first smelter, so we can basically plop this down, and then we can feed it from behind. I'm going to put 2 down right now. So the panels are at the front this way. We can feed it from any direction we want, really. And multiple if you want to feed it even faster. So, yeah, so let's grab some of our ore. We've already built up 192 here. Grab that. Just deposit it in there. So we access our inventory, and what can we do? Hold shift right click, I think, to split. Alright, and we'll just put the other half in. So they're just now automating rods. Well, it's not automating, and I had to manually feed it, but now we've got, you know, I'm not crafting it, so finally the machines are doing it for us. So we need 2 loaders and 2 conveyors so that we can then automate the process is our next task. So, get 1 loader here, I guess we'll make 2 there, and we're going to need a few belts. I'm going to need more of that stuff on the other side, though. So I'm just now working at the other deposit. I'm going to set this one up in the exact same way we've done the other one, so just a drone miner, a couple smelters, and just get the ball rolling over here for this resource as well. So I'm just kind of clearing the area, just so we have a lot of space around it to lay out those foundations. Alright, just like that, another biomass burner, the drone hub is up and running, the xenoferrite is pouring in, so that'll just speed up things just ever so slightly here for me. Alright, so craft a research server and place a research server will be next, but I have to actually hook these up with belts and things, so we've built some loaders, right, so I'll get the loader down here, so a loader will take stuff out, pop it on a belt, and then send it in. So we could do it from this angle actually, thinking about it, so building the belt. And then this could be building the belt. And you actually can't do it on a corner, so what I could do is do this, go out there. Right, and we need to make another loader obviously and send it in there. Now, you can say whether or not it's going to be an intake loader or an output loader just by clicking a little button on it too. It automatically knows most of the time what it's supposed to do, but there is that button just in case. So that'll just be taking in ore. It only actually takes it in when it needs it. So it doesn't actually just keep taking it in till it's full. It only takes it in until it actually needs it. You can actually see the production status of the building itself here. So it's 20 per minute is what it's looking to do, and it's putting out 20 per minute here as well. Obviously same here, same recipe for both of these. So if we have a look at the ore, we're currently getting 64 per minute. So we could do 3 smelters. But they can actually change and vary a little bit based on the drone. So we just went up to 68. It can depend on like the distance to the deposit and how far down they have to dig. So at the moment, you know, 64 seems to be a good average. I haven't seen it go lower than that, so that could be 3 smelters. So I might work on that, and I'll do the same over on the other side. Nice quality of life feature as well, as we can just copy a building by looking straight at it. So we'll just pop that one down right there. We'll just send this out now this way, and put a loader on it as well. And that should automatically know what to do. So let's switch to intake. And there we go. So obviously then we need some outputs. We don't yet have a container that we can send stuff into, so for now we're just going to be pulling things out manually. But that should keep our production relatively efficient now. We're basically smelting as much as we're making. We still have to manually fill this with biomass though, and I've got a decent amount still in the inventory. Might go collect some trees actually again though. And now over at the Technum side of things, the same is happening. So we have a simple little drone bay feeding in our ore into 3 smelters. Looks like the production amounts are basically the same here. It's 20 per minute, and the drones are basically working at, well, they've slowed down at the moment because this actually got full, but they should be totally fine. It was about 60 as well. Alright, so in our crafting menu, we now have a research server. So it's going to take some xenoferrite plates, components, and technum rods, which we're both basically automating now for sake of argument. With that done, we can then feed it with science packs for our first little bit of technology. So I'm going to place it over here just because this is where we've got the most foundations at the moment. So we'll just right-click that one to place it down. We could just move it a bit later. Alright, there we go. To advance in research, you need to build science packs. So let's just craft a few of those now in the background. And then we can have a look at the research interface. So this is our big, massive research tree with obviously just tons of different research trees for depending on what you're looking at, be it power, character improvements and upgrades, increased inventory, things to get around your structures better, like ladders, containers, advanced science packs, just absolutely like mental amounts of things in here. Basically, that'll just carry you through for a very, very long time as you're trying to produce all the different science packs. I think you know the drill. If you played a factory game before, you know where it's going. So what we need to do is craft just 3 science packs. Obviously, handcrafting them is very slow, but it's doing it now in the background. And then we need to research the emergency beacon. So we just about have our 3rd one now. There we go. We'll pop those in. Research interface. So the beacon, the first thing we can get, basically. Alright, so by placing an emergency beacon, we should be able to re-establish communications with mission control. Alright, there we have it. Smelters are working away, drones are doing their thing, and we're waiting for research. I guess actually what I should be doing is going out and collecting more biomass, so let's get to it. It says we now have the emergency beacon blueprint. Craft it and place it, but not too close to your existing machines. Those rescue parties tend to land right on top of the beacons. So let's just craft one. We'll place it just somewhere near the pod itself, because we can always fill back in the hole that it makes when it lands after the fact. Alright, so we've got our beacon. Let's call it in. So we got to press the button, which is around the back. And there we go. That's God right there. Oh, cool. There's actually a big broken up ship in space. I never noticed that. Alright, you smashed it. So we got to dismantle the drop pod to open it up. And then we're given something that we have to replace. So we'll place it nearby the pod itself. Why not? And there we go. Got our little buddy now. Welcome to the ground, C3BB. We've activated this emergency beacon because we're having trouble communicating with mission command. Beep boop. Alright, actually, because, again, OCD. Just gotta fill that all in, of course. How can you not? Nice. Puts all that dirt I picked up to use. Alright, what do you got for me? So, new tasks, a research assembler, the active tasks. We can also pet him. We have to wait for just a little bit of the voiceover in the story to kind of progress, and then we can activate him in a moment. Alright, here we go. New tasks, research assembler. Beep boop. So, you're right, we need a machine that is able to craft common items. I'm glad you have the blueprint stored. Let's go ahead and research the assembler. Alright, I've got 7 science packs right now, so let's see. The assembler 1. So we needed the beacon to get it, and it'll take 5 packs. Cool, shouldn't take too long then. Alright, nice. Research complete in that time. I've just extended the flooring out just a little bit further. My goal is to kind of get it to reach over to where our other deposit is eventually. So we've unlocked the assembler. Visit C3BB to turn in our quest. Here we go. Alright, the assembler will serve as the foundation for mass producing the most commonly required items. Gone are the days of handcrafting. Yeah, I bet. I'm definitely not going to be doing handcrafting ever again. Also, it's kind of cool. He can wander off and do a bunch of things, and then you can just summon him back here. Just in case he gets too far. So, speaking of, he's actually got another little quest for us here. So, Science Pack 2 is what he wants us to get to next. Now, that's a bit of a leap. I would say here is sort of where the tutorial kind of ends, in a way. At least for me as a player. Because now it's like, okay, you've got assemblers. You can now make things in machines, and you can connect the output of smelters to those. And then you can eventually start setting up production chains to make science packs. That's ultimately what we got to do now, so I'm going to get to work on it. Right, so the assemblers are here. I'm going to make a few of them and just sort of temporarily put them down somewhere on the grid here, and then just get them making foundations, get them making belts, get them making all the core components I need to actually build. Alright, here's our first one. So configure the assembler, and we can basically just tell it what we want it to make. So I really just want to extend out my foundations here at the beginning. So that's what we're going to be making first. So we need just pretty much just the rods and the plates to do that. So I can manually fill it, or I could bring over belts to do it. I suppose we should do it properly. Right, so we'll switch these now to output, just to make sure that they send out the rods. The rods are now moving, and we'll set this, it's already set to intake, so that should be fine. So I'd obviously have to go pretty far with the belt to grab this stuff, and that's what I'm making the foundations for, so I'll just manually fill the plates, at least for now, while the rods are automated. Alright, it's doing its thing. We've already made 40. Man, it's quick. Alright, using assemblers, I made all of these blocks. Now I'm basically queuing them up to make a bunch of belts for me. So to do that, I had to create the actual interstitial component first, right? So it's the machine parts are being made here, and then that's just going pretty much straight over into the machine next to it. Anyway, once I get just enough belts going, then we can kind of set up a more standard production chain. Alright, so let's start automating science packs, or trying to. So I'm just going to place down 2 assemblers here. I'll tuck them in with a gap of 3 between them with their panels facing out this way. That should be fine. We can then configure the assembler to make our science pack, and we can see that it is then going to be taking in 20 machine parts per minute and 16 technum rods per minute for 2 science pack out. So we'll do that again for these ones, and then we have to decide how we're going to feed these in. So I guess what I'll do is we'll go with a loader just on the edge here and here. And we'll build a belt facing that way and just let that feed right there. So we're going to send this all the way over towards our machines. So we have technum rods at least coming out of these ones, right? So it's 20 per minute, so we only need 32. So we've got more than we need, but we can always branch off of this belt a little later if we really wanted to, so I'm not too worried about it. We'll just extend this down this way. Alright. So that's the belt built. The rods are on the way. Now for the machine parts, right, of which we needed 20, I'm going to just put down another assembler just really quickly and see what exactly... Yeah, so machine parts are here. They are made at a rate of 40 in and 40 out. So 2 of these is actually perfect, right? Because we needed 20. Yeah, so 1 of these would be good enough to feed both of those. That's great. And then we just need 40. So let's see what's coming out of here. I think it's 246. So 2 of these machines could be broken off and sent in there for a good 1-to-1 ratio. Yep, 20 per minute. Alright, let's try that then. So I'll actually have to build a little ramp logistics thing. Belt. So logistics thing. A belt. Yeah, so I'll take this down. And we'll just copy another one just somewhere in the middle point. Like that, I guess. So 2 machines are needed, right? So we'll grab just these 2. Rotating that way, that way, that way. Turn, and then it can go like this. Bit messy. The way I've done my foundations, I guess. But let's try place that ramp now. Never used one before. Oh, it's 2 grid spaces. Okay. Yeah. And just continue this all the way down. Okay, so that should be 40 per minute, making its way over towards this assembler, which if we configure for machine parts, means that 40 in and 40 out. So again, we could do our belt here. And just continue that along. Might have to make more belt, actually. Getting a bit low. And there we go. The first machine parts are now rolling out. That's 40 per minute. Now, I never actually checked this, but the belt speed is what? 160 per minute. Wow, that's a generous tier 1 belt. Wow, 160. Nice. Okay, cool. Oh, I'm such an idiot. We have to also feed this one, right? Oh, I need to make more belt. Alright, there we go. Now, I never actually set up output of these machines. Like, where's the output gonna go? And the way I've lined them up from 2 different sides, it's not the easiest, but we have free output slots here. You could actually feed them onto the same belt, actually. I wonder what that would do. Alright, I thought I would just touch base with the layout of the factory that I've gone for so far. We have 3 smelters here and 1 drone bay pulling in the orange ore, or the xenoferrite, right? So that's making plates. 2 of those is going off on this belt up to our first assembler here, and it's turning them into machine parts. So 40 in and 40 out, so that's a nice 1-to-1 ratio with those 2 machines. They're all good. So we can see all of the parts rolling into then our 2 assemblers here. Ooh, research complete. Which are basically making science packs. Now, because of the layout of the machines, right, we're feeding the rods in from the other smelters at the back, and we've too many rods actually, so we only needed 32, but we're producing 60. So we got well more than we need to kind of feed them from this side. But anyway, in trying to get their outputs out of here, it was a bit of a struggle, right? I realized, like, well, I can't really do that. And that's because we don't have a technology yet to give us a longer arm for our loaders or unloaders, right? They're just called loaders. They can be either or. So, you know, either you can have one that goes up and over, or one that comes out further. So I was looking in the research tree, and basically in the research tree we can see that here we've got a loader second lane, a loader with a 2-block pickup and drop-off range. So that should allow us to actually automate science packs then fully. And we can finally start that research now because we just unlocked basic infrastructure before that, which has given us a logistic container so we can now store things. One thing that's quite nice is these massive trees, which are super loud when you take them down. They provide a bunch of biomass in one click though, so it's quite nice. A little bit of deforestation, never hurt anybody. C3BB is giving me a new task. We haven't actually completed the current task. Beep boop. Okay, math genius. If it takes 8 small smelters to fill up a conveyor belt, then build 8 for each metal ore. I guess that makes sense. If we can hold 160, they're saying like you could just fill up the belt by building even more. I mean, it's a good point. I guess we'd need another drone bay then and just keep scaling up. My fear though is power. I don't want to be draining power like really quickly and everything. Although, is it just the case that the burn rate is consistent? I feel like it's burning faster now that we're actually at max output, but I could be wrong. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a consistent burn rate and that's just the output you get. I would hope to see machine efficiency jump up to 100%, because at this point we're now producing more than we need. It's interesting, even the loaders take power. But I don't like seeing machine efficiency at 70%. What have I done wrong, huh? Alright, so now, in order to automate this, if I flip to my other hotbar, we've got the bigger loader. So we'll just go out to here and to here. So we'll have to set that to output. And that to output, and now they're flowing along, and we've already got this one in place ready for intake. So now the science packs are automated. They're not going to be coming out that fast. That's just how many have been backed up in the machines, but they'll all filter in there now. But it'll only take it once we decide what we're actually researching. So what do we want next? Character improvement. Sure. Alright, great. Easy as that. We've got our first little automated system going. Rods are going in. Machine parts are going in, which are refined from plates, and science packs are rolling out. I've got little saplings growing some trees again. Biomass, I've got plenty now in the inventory. It's just a matter of expanding the smelters and seeing what's next is needed, you know? Character customization has now been added. Alright, so we just unlocked character customization. So you can click into this now, see your character. Obviously when you're playing multiplayer, that's where that's important. You can see other people. But I've changed my drill now to blue, so at least we can see our own little drill. Feel like we're blue. Also, just having a look at the loaders, they can do 1,200 items per minute. Interesting. And they consume 5 kilowatts of power, and this one, the loader second tier, is 10 kilowatts. Alright, so I've made my first container. I was hoping just to build a pretty simple loader that just takes some of the stuff off of here. But this will be the interesting thing. Will it take too much away from the actual machines that we're making? Oh, nice. You got a little screen. I love all the little screens. You got a screen for everything in this. Even a screen just to show me what's in there before I look at it. That's cool. Open the container. Nice. Not a very big container, though, if I'll be honest. Ooh, set the amount of locked slots. Only affects machinery loader. Players may still put items in the locked slots. So if we wanted to just fill up on 200 or something. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Oh, man, yeah, though. Nothing's getting through here, though. It's just taking everything. So it's interesting. It's not like a splitter, right? Maybe that comes later. I'll have to look through the tech tree. Oh, yeah, there it is. A conveyor balancer. Allows to split, merge, or balance 2 conveyor lanes. Yeah, we'll get all this stuff. What's this? Signs. Stairs. Man, speaking of signs, we can build our own. That's awesome. Ultimately, we're working towards Science Pack 2. So, kind of want to get everything that's in this tier first, and then that'll be it. But there's a burner generator right before it. Unlocks a larger low-voltage generator, which can be automated, and is also slightly more efficient. While the burner generator can burn biomass, it's advised to automate the process by using ignium ore, mined by drone miners. So I think when you get that, the ignium ore appears. Oh no, there you go. Sorry, I shouldn't speak out of turn. There's a scanner item for ignium right here. It's a burnable element used for power generation. Well, that's obviously what we got to get next then, isn't it? Alright, there we go. Filling up another container now with the excess plates. So the 2 smelters here doing plates, that's going 1-to-1 into that machine. Whereas this one was never doing anything, so now it's just going into a container so it can run forever. interesting. In opening up the map, we can see that there's unknown resources around me, right? So obviously, continue your research to find out what these are. But there's xenoferrite ore right next to the ore deposit I'm getting. But it must be underground because it says it's unreachable. And you need to increase your mining force to gain access to unreachable resources. Interesting. So the next thing for me at this point is I want to stop filling these with biomass. Yeah, that's getting tedious on purpose, right? We can't really grow without me constantly having to keep running back and feeding it. But we're scanning for ignium now, which is the burnable resource, so we can set up power. So basically automated power and making sure that we're providing enough so that it's self-reliant and self-sufficient will be the idea. But the deposits are finite, so eventually I guess it will run out. But that's what we're working on now. Alright, let's do our scan. So we know that that's the xenoferrite, that's the technum, and there it is, ignium ore. Not too far, actually. Which is nice. Yeah, it's actually really close. But it's underground. Guess we'll have to dig down a little bit to get to it. Gotta say, atmosphere of the game is quite nice, quite peaceful at night. The skybox is beautiful. I gotta say, I didn't really notice it, but nighttime, the music, the moonrise, it's quite chill. Quite nice. Very peaceful. So while I've been researching things in the background, I've started to get some cosmetics. So I thought I'd talk through just kind of the look and feel that you can kind of go for in your factory. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm building a sort of corridor that leads out towards the open pit mine where we have this ignium resource. So I've kind of built a big foundational area around it with some railings. So having a look at the railing, you can basically choose between a cross intersection, a T, a straight, a corner, that kind of thing, and then just deploy it. You can obviously rotate it as well in the spot, but you also get given a sort of a blank canvas thing here, just called the cube, a decor cube. And here you can kind of switch between having slopes, inverted corners, kind of irregular shapes or whatever, kind of curves, that sort of thing. So you can kind of deploy those how you want as well. You can actually rotate them on different axes as well, so pretty flexible if you want to get really creative with things. I'm not very creative with shapes. I've mentioned that before in other series. I'm really bad with it, so I end up building rectangles basically everywhere. I can draw what I want to do, but I'm very, very bad when it comes to actually compiling shapes in games to make things, you know, the way I want them. Anyways, so things are starting to come together. You know, we have our stairs now. I just built a basic wall here, and then you can get your paint roller, which is unlocked alongside the cube, and you can actually add your own custom colors. So I've added just 2 from my Satisfactory series. The standard colors I go with there are this sort of what I've called street light yellow and dark gray. So you can just then like basically paint, you know, along the edges of whatever you want and just go over. It doesn't cost anything, so it's just a matter of getting it right and being happy with it and then changing things after the fact if you wanted to switch it up, change it to some other colors or whatever the case might be. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention, it's kind of coming together. Going to build this sort of tunnel here. I've unlocked some lights and things. I want a corridor, like I said, as we go out to that open pit mine before we then build a smelter room sort of off of it now. Our little robot friend here said he was scared during the nighttime, so he's given us an objective to build 5 light poles. So I've just got the technology now, placed the first 2 over there, and I've just crafted a couple more. It's pretty straightforward. It's a light, but this should keep them happy. Put them over these various different machines, I guess. Something like that. And our new little tunnel area. Alright, task complete. He wants me to turn it in. It's just like a little MMO. It actually is an all with the little question mark over his head. Hello. Beep boop. Do you give me anything for that? You've eliminated my perspective. Things are looking exceptionally bright around here. Well, aren't you lucky? Alright, so I've just placed down the first fuel burner. I'm just kind of learning about it, but a really nice thing in the game is the information database. You've got all these different pages about how everything works, how belts work, even very simple things like how do you access the flashlight. So it's pretty robust. In here in the building section, though, we also have one for the burner generator. So it produces low voltage power, powers the building blocks it's on top of. It's recommended to use ignium ore over biomass as fuel, since it has a higher fuel value and the mining process can be automated. So it's basically saying that it can take in anything that has a fuel value, but you want to use ignium ore instead of biomass. So I'm just getting a feel for the size of the building, and I'll probably put down 1 or 2 of these and see what they actually require. Alright, the drones are moving out. They're going to start collecting that ore. Look at them go. So we've got 2 little drone miner things here for them to get working on that stuff. So yeah, lots is going to be coming in soon. So I'm planning on bringing the belt out this way and having a little burner area right here off of the deposit itself. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the little cosmetic tunnel thing I've done. So pretty crudely put together, and I haven't unlocked everything yet, but here's what it looks like. So you can just flip the door handle to get in, or you can actually flip the switch so that it's automatic. So as we back away, then it should close and open itself. So I think you get windows later. I haven't actually fully looked in the tech tree, so I just carved out some holes because it was quite dark in here. But yeah, we'll run down. We'll just select the automatic opening of these. And then we go through to our little mining pit area. So there's room on the right side for other drones, and on this side as well in future, because they can basically only reach to about here. As you're putting down the actual thing, it can show you what kind of coverage of the deposit you have. So you can see that in blue. So we're just a little bit short, and we're well over it now. And they do go underneath the actual kind of where they come out of, so that's quite nice. They're pretty flexible with where they go to get the ore, and they go quite deep too. Also, if we fall down there, we've got a little ladder to get back up, and basically this is just my little burner section that I've set up here. So you got 2 of them now automating power, and research is turned off right now, so we're only consuming 500 kilowatts with the 2 of these put down, so 500 each. So if we have a look totally at the grid stats, so very low voltage overall of where we could possibly go, right? So with the max amount of 1,800, it's rough, you know, we're basically looking at 4,000 megawatts is what we can do. It's 3,600, I guess. So lots of extra buildings and stuff can be piled on here. The one thing that I feel like I'm missing in terms of information, though, is what's the burn rate? I know what we're getting out of these drones, right? We're getting, it says 44 per minute. This one just says 8 because it's full, I guess. So I'd love to know, that was, I'm guessing both around 40, that's what it was earlier on. So it's like, okay, with both at 40, what's our burn rate though? Is that 40 per minute? Is it variable? Does it change based on the... Although I guess we could ramp it up and then maybe count it down, and maybe that's why it doesn't show you, because the buildings in this game, there's so much information and it really does tell you basically everything you'd ever need to know. So I'm very curious as to why it's not telling me that there. I guess it was the same with this, right? It didn't tell me the burn rate of biomass. So it must be that it's variable. But even the drones is variable, and it just updates and tells you, depending on how much it's delivering. So it's a bit unusual, that one. Let's go to our research. We can finally get Science Pack 2 now, so we'll toggle that on. All of these research packs are going to get fed in now, 3 at a time. It doesn't load it up. It only takes what it needs off the belt. Kind of interesting, that. So if your belt is full, the belt is full. It's not going to pile it into there, because you can hold up to 100, I think. But it would rather send more on to the next one along, I guess, which is quite interesting. But anyway, that's going just fine there in the background, so 10% pretty much already now. And we'll see what kind of power draw we're using now. Oh yeah, it's definitely burning faster. You can see that bar going down way quicker now. Hey, research complete. Alright, let's head over to our little BB. And see what he says. Hello, friend. Science Pack 2. We're making great progress. New and exciting blueprints are coming up, exactly as the disaster protocol suggests. BB, any updates on the station? So no new tasks, but he wants me to build at least 16 smelters. Not yet. We'll follow protocol and continue to expand until you've got news for us. Right, so with Science Pack 2 unlocked, now basically we're up to steel making. Crafting speed increases, new belt speeds, 320 items per minute, improved decor, so walls and struts. So I've been building big giant square walls, but it looks like there's actually walls in the game. Double doors instead of me putting 2 doors next to each other. So explosives, now we're talking. Damn, man. I wish I had more time with it. I want to get to the good stuff. Office chair, office couch, office desk. What are you talking about? What's all this? I thought we'd just be building blocks. Improved lights, wall lights, and ceiling lights. Oh my god. Damn, I feel a bit bad that we've only done 1 episode because I didn't get to any like the really important stuff, but I'll keep pushing. Right, so in automating Science Pack 2, we need to automate conveyors and the building blocks themselves. So basically that would be plates and rods and plates and parts. So not too bad. It just means scaling up everything a little bit more than we have. So right now I've just added several more drones to this area, right? So previously we just had the 1 working away. Now we've got 4 in total. Each one has multiple drones obviously as well. So that's all flowing along this belt. And I think 4, 8, 12, even if it's 6, 12, 18, we should be basically enough to fit on this 1 belt anyway, I think, feeding into all of these smelters. And I just need to basically take this out and bring it up here and feed it into some new assemblers that are going to be making these building blocks. So now the rates are much higher as well. We need 72 per minute plates and 48 rods. So I think that's actually what we have left over because we were consuming an uneven amount as well with the other buildings. So I'll have to have a look into that basically. Right, so I've just started automating conveyor belts, at least conveyor Mark 1. So if we follow the chain for this, we've got 4 smelters here all making plates. The plates are rolling up into 2 assemblers. The first assembler is turning some of those plates into machine parts. I'm just going to take those actually. The machine parts are then coming out of the machine, going onto a little belt, and then going straight into this other machine here. So it's still receiving the plates, and now it's getting the parts, so that is how we get our belts out. Boom. So that's one stage of it. The next would be continuing this along, actually, if we could. Maybe even further. Just trying to think about it, actually. Maybe because we need to get rods to come over this way. And the rods are all made over here. So this is our rods line, and then we need to cross over the belts there. So I haven't used this yet, but we've got our first splitter. There, a conveyor balancer. I've never actually used it before. I might have to learn about it a little bit. Oh, there we go. Learn about it. So conveyor balancers are special buildings, part of a conveyor system. They have 2 input belts and 2 output belts. Depending on the use case, they can be used to achieve multiple goals. If both lanes and both sides are connected, the balancer will randomly scramble the 2 lanes. Oh. If you connect 2 inputs but only 1 output, input and output, the balancer will merge the 2 incoming but oh nice. So it's like a dynamic splitter merger. Nice. Priority levers. They can be used to set priorities on either side, left or right lane. Wow, this is like super dynamic for like one little building. So let's try it. We'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. Place this here. So I basically want this to split into 2. So yeah, it's as simple as, I guess, just doing that, right? And there we go. Done. Alright, so can we go up and over, actually? Did I make any of these? Yes. Man, we're building factories now. Ah, I remember it told me about this actually. If you get a slope, but it's facing the wrong way, you just rotate it like that. Or you change its style actually, or output or whatever. So you right click your mouse to choose it from the radial wheel. Alright, well there we go. So now we are splitting our rods on this belt, and some of them are coming down this way. Sweet. Alright, so let's just grab one of these machines again. We'll give ourselves ample space. What's my spacing? About 3. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, this works out just well. So we'll grab this. This can take from the plates line, feed it into here. And then we'll need, I suppose, the longer variant. If we don't want to move the belt anyway. Like that. And then that can be attached there. Alright, so it's set as intake. So is this for Science Pack 2? Or am I thinking of something else now? That's plates and rods. Yeah, plates and rods for the building blocks. Cool. Alright, so that's building blocks now automated. So it takes 72 per minute. Wow. Yeah, so building blocks are automated. I need to put my panels facing out the same way. And then we have belts being automated. So we need to bring these out together. And into another assembler. Right, okay. Extend our floor, we can build another one. I'm just trying to think where this needs to go, actually, really quickly. So, we could have a belt coming out there. Belt coming out there. Yeah, so I think we could just go with something pretty much right here, actually. So this is going to be now Science Pack 2. So conveyor and building block. And basically, we just need to go with a... sorry, loader. Right, I went very quiet there, but I think I've got it. So this belt can just go underneath that one. Hopefully that works. I think it does. And this one can just go right over to its buddy. Yeah? think that's it. So that's intake, intake. This is output. Yeah, there we go. We can see the building block. Output. Boom. That's what we like to see. Nice. So now, this should be receiving both. It is. And that is Science Pack 2. That was pretty quick. It didn't take me too long. I haven't necessarily provided as much of the stuff over here as I should have, though. So I can get rid of maybe... Oh, sorry, wrong button. Get rid of the biomass burners here. And if I extended out the building block, so I'd have to dig through the ground just a little bit. Well, for now, what I can do is just grab another one of these. Do we have any more? No, I don't have any more crafted. But that's 2 now. So we can have just more smelters. Push that in just a little... Actually, no, it needs to be there, doesn't it? Yep. And let's leave a gap with the panel in between. So then again, loaders onto a belt. So this light is in the way. Just get rid of that. I'm getting faster, just barely. Right, so they've already been set to output. Those are set to input. They should be burning away. They just know what they need to burn based on what comes in. A novel concept to some. Not saying, you know, naming any names. Give me those rods. They're not getting out efficiently enough. With our new splitter, though, I feel like they should be. Oh, we could actually build a merger after the splitter. And do other crazy things. But anyway, that should be the rod production, like, totally fine. I'm just wondering, our production is now 20, 20, and 20. Yeah, so this can take 160. So we can have loads more on this if we wanted to. So maybe I could build another one of these. And we just merge them like here. Alright, cool. So then we need more loaders. And while we're waiting for those to get built, we'll just do this. Alright, so we didn't provide an output on that side, so it said that it should just act as a merger now, which is quite a cool concept, actually. Just that it's that dynamic. Alright, we'll set this to output and output. So there we go. So rods are going to be going out that way now, and they should, in theory, just be merging up. But we see we're not consuming enough at the moment. So that's fine. I'm not even researching, so that's actually why the rods are all kind of stopped up there, because we're basically pretty much getting backed up with science packs. But now we can grab the science packs out of here. Which should be level 2 science packs. Bonk. Hey, there we go. Science Pack 2. Rolling out. And it looks like it's continuously being made, so we've met the production rate. Now, there's only one of the buildings at the moment. But I just wanted to get something done quickly so I could get some of this extra research so we can see some of the cooler things. But it might take quite a while to research some of these things. So what can we go with? Steel making, character crafting speed, conveyor to decor. You know where my priorities are. It's decor. I guess explosives would be pretty fun. It needs biomass, huh? Oh yeah, we got to do it. Get me explosives. So we need 40 science packs of both. So it should be taking them in now. Once the other batch gets up here. Yep. Oh well, I'm being such a fool. I'm only sending it into one machine, not into 2. Alright, so now I've got 2 assemblers, both making Science Pack level 2, both being churned out together, merging onto this belt now and going out that way. So they're quite slow to make. I am providing them with enough material. The belts are full on the way in. They have a long wind-up time, I guess, to be produced. It's just 2 per minute. Which I guess is the same for the other building. It just, I don't know, feels slower on this one, but they'll say 2 per minute. So they're on their way in, and we're up to 50% now on the explosives side of things. Hey, new crafting recipe, an explosives detonator. Yeah. Ooh, we have what we need already. So we'll just get crafting on that, and then we need explosive charges. So we need to make actual explosives, and that requires... Oh, it requires ignium ore and technum ore. So we actually just need the ore itself. Let's see, is there any in here? Oh yeah, this thing's actually full of it. No space in my inventory. Uh-oh. Oh my god, I've got a billion rods. Alright, I've got the explosive charge. I'm gonna try and blow this thing up. I don't know if they're actually used for mining or is it just meant for clearing out large areas. Oh, there we go. Step back. Sweet. Pretty cool. Oh wow, it actually made quite a deep hole. Alright, let's see what we could do for clearance, land clearance. It just carelessly throws it. It's like, yeah, whatever, over there, it's something over there. Alright. Let's get it ready. Oh yeah, wow. I mean, that's gonna be a nightmare to fill, but and you don't get any of the resources, right? So it really is just for clearing out large areas. Now, like I said, there's underground caverns and stuff, so I guess it'd be a great way of just blasting out. I wonder, does it destroy resources? Surely not, right? Because that way you could at least just blast your way down to the ore. So there's some ore here. Let's just throw one thing on it, like on the edge, and see what happens. Nice, yeah, that's exactly what you want, right? So it's just complete clearance around the ore deposit. So that would make life very easy, as opposed to drilling through to get to the ignium that I had to do earlier. Oh my god, they're huge. Wow. Is there different types? There is. Alright, cool. So we can actually make a building now, rather than whatever I made over there, which looked like a disaster. There we go. I added a little sign. Nice. So yeah, we can make little signs now, and you can actually change their size as well, just slightly. So we've got signs for the floor. I guess that just sit on the floor like little TV screens. They got little stands. But then there's wall signs, like this one. And then you just interact with the little button here, and you have some BB code type things here. So text, italic, underlined, etc. Change the color based on the hex code. Oh, there we go. Got the double door. Wish you could change the color though. I was kind of actually building this like as blue and sort of grey based off of that door, and now seeing that the double is red, I'm like, damn it! Gotta redo my colors. Alright everybody, I think that's going to have to be it for this episode. So I feel like I got a decent amount done. Got the science pack level 2, started getting some of those technologies, mostly the cosmetics, if I'll be honest, so that I could create my own little office space over here. So we've got, you know, a little chair, filing cabinet and stuff like that, my little office desk, and just making sure my numbers are correct on my production documents. Now, you can put up new lights on the ceiling and the walls, but they're not coming on. The regular lights have a little, toggle to toggle them on and off. These ones, I couldn't see a way to do that, and I was kind of thinking like, well, they actually do consume power, so I thought maybe they had to be on the grid. So I made sure to extend the grid underneath the walls and attach them to the walls, but yeah, I just don't know, maybe with the decor little cube that doesn't transfer power, so not sure how you actually get them on. Or it could just be the case that they come on at nighttime. Maybe. Not sure. It didn't say. Anyways, that's going to have to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this first look at the game. If people really like it and want me to do more, I'd gladly play this because I'm quite enjoying it. It'd be quite a fun one to stream, I feel like, as well. So let me know if you'd like to see more with it. And really, based on how this video does and the reception to people in the comments and stuff, will be whether or not I do a little mini-series with it, maybe. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.